The Evolution of a Nobody, Book 2, Chapters 16 and 17, Truth Beneath the Seal. Albert settled back into his game after that, the noise of the spell casting, sword swinging, Kami tearing through hordes of foes was more or less the only noise to be had. Liala picked up one of the books on human history and began to read, while Raziel watched videos online pertaining to computer science. The demoness toyed with the volume on his headphones to drown out the game, and her study went on unabated. They may not have magic in this world, but this technology, it's a dream, Raziel thought as she watched a video of a giant rocket soaring toward the sky. They can actually travel to their moon. This is amazing. She clicked from one story to the next, exploring the whole of this new world from the comfort of her home. A lot of war, though. Liala was talking about that before. She snapped herself out of her thoughts and took Albert's headphones out of her ears. Hey, Albert, how come you have all these wars, but no? What's the word coverage of getting ready to seal whatever it is that you're all so worried about? I've gotten a look at your public criers, what you call news anchors, though what they have to do with ships I still don't get. She reached up and scratched the horn on the left side of her head and ignored Albert's chortle when he set the controller down and leaned back on his hands to look up at her. But anyway, shouldn't they be talking about the whys of these things? Like, don't people want to know if they're going to keep their destruction at bay? Raziel asked and cocked her head, and because the question had been on Liala's mind also, the angel looked up from the book she was reading and paid attention also. Albert looked at the screen. He'd paused it when Raziel sought his attention. Raziel, Raz, you think all this is over some seal? Albert asked and slowly shook his head at her when she gave a little nod. His voice changed, his eyes closed, and a deep sigh escaped his lips. Listen, Raz, we don't have anything like that here. There's no big threat that's going to destroy us. Humans fight for all kinds of reasons. Land, money, property, resources, gold, even economic systems, and religion. War is kind of... How do I say this? He looked at the screen where Kami's sword was raised up and ready to strike just as soon as he unpaused it. The blade would turn the front three warriors into red paste, and the rest would be sent flying. Then Albert would lead his character onto another location for another fight, and only in the space between would there be peace. The answer came to him with that realization. The history of humans is just like one really long fight. We're a species born of conflict. We can be good to our own kind, but look at me. He put his hand on his chest and lay on his side, looking up at the demoness and propping his head up in the palm of his other hand with his elbow on the carpet. I stopped being one of theirs, and everybody turned on me. If I'd killed myself, I doubt they would even have done a memorial service. If it wouldn't have proved them right about me, and if it wouldn't have made my mother sad. He trailed off, but in his own mind he finished, I might have done it. He blinked a little and rushed on. We don't have a monster to seal or whatever it is you're all so worried about where you come from. We just can't seal up our own worst traits. We try, but we are what we are. Liala took that in with great silence. That's unthinkable. We would never... She stopped speaking when Raziel's eyes turned on her. We might, the demoness said. Look at how my kind are treated. I'm as much a demon as any imp or druid or familiar. But what do they expect out of me? You're an angel, so you're automatically assumed to be honest all the time, but you lied more than once for my sake, and you were believed even when I wasn't, just because you're an angel and just because I'm a demon and a succubus. And think about the others? Everybody thinks orcs just have to wander, and dwarves belong in mines. If that world didn't have a great threat to unite it, why wouldn't we fall apart? But that's... It's just... Liala struggled to think of a counter-argument, but her sister's eyes bored into her like a screw through wood, and Albert's face shifted to hers. We're not like that. We wouldn't fight each other over nothing. We're peaceful until the seal weakens. That's how it's always been, Liala insisted, and Albert sat up, putting his back to her. So, you're better than humans? He asked without looking back at her. No. That's not what I meant. It's just that we don't act like that, Liala insisted, struck dumb by his answer. Liala, Raziel snapped at her sister, we do act like that whenever a war comes up. You've heard of some of the massacres in the past. If we could do that when the seal weakens to try to make heroes, why couldn't we do that if some goblin king wants a stretch of forest belonging to some elves, or an orc chief has his daughter stolen by a neighbor after a courtship offer is turned down? But Liala felt the chill in her blood at the way Albert spoke to her, her eyes going back and forth between her sister and her friend. "When was the last time the seal was broken?" Albert interjected. "I don't know if it's ever been," Raziel asked. "Why?" "So how do either of you know there's even anything on the other side? I mean, for all you know, couldn't that whole threat just be something made up to keep your entire world from collapsing into war like this one? Maybe this weakening of the seal isn't even real, and your own leaders just keep the lie going so they redistribute key resources and things." Albert threw the suggestion out there, and both sisters fell silent in open-mouthed horror. "What?" he asked while the silence stretched out. "You just kind of hear from other people how this works. Summon someone up, kill them off, or whatever you do, and everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Or maybe tensions go up and they just use this. The seal is getting weak to force people to make peace. Or maybe they say it to start and control wars. I mean, how do you really know this threat is even there?" he demanded and turned his eyes on Liala. "Maybe my kind are just vicious brutes and your home is full of wonderful people. But maybe you're the same as us and just don't want to think about it." He didn't shout, but he declared it with such force that Liala reared back with her wings against the bed frame as if he'd slapped her. "Albert, I'm sorry, really. I didn't mean it that way," Liala said. Tears began to pool in her sky-blue eyes. It's all I know. And now you tell us this, please. I didn't mean to offend you." He didn't look over his shoulder at her. Rather, he got up to his feet and stretched with his arms over his head. "Lisa is coming over this evening, and you've got to go through my memories too, and we'll want dinner tonight, so I'm going to the store. I'll just grab a few things and I'll be back later. Tonight's special, so I'll be cooking. Just wait here." "Albert!" Liala said when he walked out and closed the door behind him, leaving her eyes cast down at the carpet and her sister glaring down at her. "I didn't mean it," Liala said to the carpet fibers. She could feel the quiet stare of the demoness when the blood-skin-colored girl said to her, "That didn't make it sting any less." But beneath those thoughts was another, and an ugly one. Could he actually be right about the seal? Could it all have just been a lie? Were we thrown away on a lie? "You messed up there, Liala," Raziel said as soon as they were alone, and the angel brought her knees up to her chest. "I know. I didn't mean it that way. I really didn't, but it just— How can I make this right?" Liala answered. "You ask like I have any idea," Raziel said and scratched her horn. "I get it, I do. I mean, that place hasn't had a war except for hero creation in centuries. But you really should have known better. You've seen how easily we get divided. Orcs and elves have old hatreds that still haven't disappeared outside of orphanages. And how many times did I have to fend off—" Raziel's mouth twisted into a snarl. "Suitors!" She spat the word. "As soon as I came of age!" "You should know better. He's got a point. We'd probably do nothing different than this place." Raziel rubbed her face with her hand and shook her head. "Do you think maybe he was right? Who knows what's really on the other side of that seal?" Raziel asked, and Liala's body trembled in response to the question. "It seems impossible, though that never occurred to me, and it makes me wonder why it occurred to him." Liala said she didn't meet her sister's eyes when she said it, but eager not to think of that possibility, she instead asked again, "So how do I make this right with him? I honestly didn't mean it that way." The demoness tapped her fingers on her thigh. "In that one anime series I was watching, one priestess told another to sleep with the hero she was assigned to." "Raz!" Liala gasped, scandalized, and her pale face turned as red as Raziel's. The demoness laughed a little, breaking the tension and quickly shaking her head. "No, I know. I'm only teasing. It's not like in fiction where you can solve problematic misunderstandings that easily. Look, you can apologize and just show him you mean it. This is new to you. He'll understand if you show him you genuinely don't think that way." "I hope so," Liala answered. "But you know what's more important? This world is a lot stronger than ours, to an absurd degree. Watch this," Raziel said and curled her fingers toward herself, calling Liala over to her. "It's not just unlimited access to knowledge, it's the scale of application. The lights, the running water, his toys like that fantastic game, the television and this computer, all that is great. But this—" She clicked over to a video showing the detonation of the atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. "Whole cities just gone. They can kill tens of thousands of people in seconds, and this was almost 100 years ago. They now have weapons hundreds of times more powerful." Raziel shivered. "There's no magic I have ever heard of that can do this. They have flight, but no flight spells. Most people can read. Think about what it takes to accomplish that. Just teachers, Leala pointed out. Right, but like lots of them, and they do it for everybody. Outside of orphanages for potentials like us, how many people do you know of who were literate? Raziel pointed out, and Leala's face went briefly blank. That's a good point, she mumbled. If you could get back and take this knowledge with you, you could change everything. Forget summoning a hero. Just what they know about the basics of life would change everything, Raziel insisted, and for a moment Leala was caught up in her sister's enthusiasm until the implications of her words hit her. You mean if we could, Leala corrected. No way, Raziel insisted. Aside from how Albert is treated, I like it here. Even if they find a way to bring us home, or even if we can work out a way to get back, I'm not leaving. I like it here. I like their computers and games. I like being myself here. I can't ever be that where we were born. But home, Leala started to say until Raziel put a hand on the angel's lower back. The place we were born never saw beyond what I was born as. Sure, if we go back now, I have illusion magic. Maybe I could disguise myself as an orc or something. But you know there are laws about the use of illusions. And even if I could, there are those who can dispel them. Here, though, I can make myself look how I want. Nobody will ever know, and if anyone ever figures it out, I at least won't have the same expectations, Raziel explained. I can have a future here. But you'd have to live a lie forever. Maybe if we have no choice, but if we can get home. Leala tried to argue, but she felt the tips of Raziel's talons poke into her skin. If we can get back, I'd still have to live a lie, and that's if they don't just want to use us both for another summoning. If we go back together, we're matches, so they'd probably make us get rid of illusion magic and rebuild the summoning ritual again. If I go back alone, things will go like I said. If you go back alone, you're an angel. You can expect a good life. It's all just guesses anyway, since we've got no idea if a way back is possible. But if it is, if we could, you can go. But I'll stay here. Aren't you worried about what that will mean for Albert, if he's caught with you as you are? Leala pointed out. In my nightmares, I dream that we're caught. While we're hauled off to human experiments the way he said, he's thrown into confinement for the rest of his life. Raziel shook her head. No. Once we know enough and we can live on our own, we'll have to move out. Go off on our own so we're not a danger to him. Right now we can help, but we both know it can't last. If you go back alone, I'll plan for my own future the same as if you were here. It turns out, she tapped the computer keyboard, I'm pretty adept with these. Maybe I'll study them or try to build my own after we get work and can buy parts. You've thought a lot about this, Leala whispered. But won't you miss me? Her eyes teared up, and Raziel impulsively brought the angel close for an embrace. Their wings brushed against one another. Leather was held fast against feather, and warm demonic skin rubbed against the cooler flesh of the angel. More than anything, Raziel promised. You don't even need to ask. But I can't have a future there, not like I could here, and even if I don't care for the place, if there's a way to make it better, I know we should. Neither said anything more, returning to the book and computer respectively in silence until they heard Albert return.